to have very strong finish, Ante Narayana Smriti. Our life is a composite of everything we've done on an individual daily basis. So we come back to our japa every day to examine how we're doing and to stay on course and take shelter of the holy names. And today's lesson comes from Srila Prabhupada, and it's on the matter of determination and effort. And he writes as follows in a letter dated June 1969. Regarding your last question about the ecstatic symptoms of chanting Hare Krishna, you should know that the Hare Krishna mantra has an equal effect upon all devotees. Just like the sunshine has an equal effect on everyone, but when it is covered, the sunshine has a different effect. Similarly, the influence of the Hare Krishna mantra becomes manifest when one is no longer covered by the 10 offenses to chanting. The more we become free from the 10 offenses, the more the effect of chanting becomes manifested through us. Everyone can become a great devotee, being freed from the offenses 100%, simply by one's determination and effort. The word determination has the word terminus, which means an ending point. And one of the ways in which one is known to be determined is that one finishes what one started off to finish. For instance, the 16 rounds means there's a beginning and an ending point, so you have to finish it to be determined, because there's a terminal, there's a terminus at the end, so get there. Whether we feel like it or not, we still do it. And a couple other thoughts about Prabhupada's point. Did you like Prabhupada's point? And that is that we have to take responsibility, personal responsibility for advancing in spiritual life. Prabhupada has said that the Acharya, the Guru, the śāstra can give us hints for advancing in spiritual life, but we have to do the work. This is a related point to determination and effort. You may have a good lineage of gurus and the śāstra is always there, but we're the ones who have to apply it. And a couple other points are, practice while you have the chance. If not now, when? And I think it was Akshina Maṅgala this morning noticed that sometimes the doors for the deities close sooner than you think. It's like, oh, I'm just getting Darśana for 2 seconds, and all of a sudden the door closes. We don't know when the door closes for us at any time. So good to take advantage of every opportunity. And the other point Prabhupada makes is that we have to be aware that we have to fly solo at some point, just as when we're studying to fly in an airplane, and we have an instructor there, but at some point you have to take your solo flight. And Prabhupada relates this to the point about how it comes down to our own individual determination and effort, that we actually have to make the effort to do it and be prepared, because it'll come down to our determination that we've developed from our practice. Let's just take a couple of reflections about this topic. 1, 2, 3, work with me, 4. Okay. Here comes a microphone.
The thing that stood out to me in the quote that you read was, one has to make an effort to become free from offenses, which to me means that we have to admit that we're offenders. And I think admitting that makes one vigilant to want to go beyond it.
Yeah, it's a good point. In recovery programs, people admit that they have a problem. It's one of the first steps, I think. Okay, who is next?
The point that you mentioned about if not now, then when, it reminded me of a quote. It said, day one or one day, the choice is yours. So,
That's good. Day one or one day? One day you will go back to Godhead. Or you can go back to Godhead in one day if you're Katvanga.
Hare Krishna. I remember in the analogy that you mentioned about airplanes, like Srila Prabhupada said in one purpose in Srimad Bhagavatam, that in the sky, in land, the airplane can be guided by people, but in the air, you have to do by yourself. So in spiritual life, the spiritual master give you, the power, the connection, but it's in our side what we have to do about our sadhana service. So
We really have to respond to it, right? Responsibility.
Krishna, I was thinking, Prabhu, I was doing my best, but I haven't developed. I have developed a taste, but not reached the chanting without any distraction. But today you have mentioned that, like Guru Sadhu Shastra will give the points, but one has to have determination and effort, and has to chant without any offenses. I am not realizing what offenses I am doing, but I am doing it. That's the reason, though the sunlight is has same effect on everywhere, but some places where it is already covered, they can't receive it. Like that, my offenses has covered something. That's why I am not reaching there. That's my realization. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that reflection. And it's a bit of a relief, actually, to hear this, that we have a say in it. That it comes down to our determination and effort, because then if it was just left up to forces beyond our control to advance, then what could we do? But if we have something to do with it, that we decide to take responsibility. It's day one. It's not one day. This is the important day. Then Krishna reciprocates. He's always there, ready to reciprocate with us. So let us give our determined effort to chant the holy names as has been given to us by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and our beloved disciplic succession. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda. May I? Just a slight interjection for the sake of bolstering our chanting. This is, as promised, the daily verse from the Namashtakam. We did 1 and 2, and today is 3. This is written by Rupa Goswami about the holy name. And in number 3 of the Namashtakam, the translation is, O Son of the holy name, even a dim glimmer of your splendor swallows the powerful darkness of materialistic life and gives those who are blind to the truth the vision to follow the path of pure devotional service. Who in this world, even if learned and pious, can fully describe your transcendental glory? Did your ear catch any of that? I'll read it again. O Son of the holy name, that's S-U-N, even a dim glimmer of your splendor swallows the powerful darkness of materialistic life and gives those who are blind to the truth the vision to follow the path of pure devotional service. Who in this world, even if learned and pious, can fully describe your transcendental glories? Did you have any reaction to that? Devavrata Prabhu went into kind of a samadhi on that. Did you have a visceral reaction to hearing it?
When you are describing about the 10 offenses, I was particularly reflecting on the last offense, which is even if the scriptures are again and again telling you that it does no good by getting attached to the material desires, but still if we get attached to material desires, that's the offense, and that's kind of the root of the offenses we commit on the other 9 ones because of that. And I think this is saying that the holy name is so powerful that it can help you overcome that last offense. I mean, that's how I'm understanding it.
Yeah, and sometimes, well, one might wonder, how will I overcome the offensive chanting? And the Padma Purana gives the advice, Nama Parada Yuktana Naman Yeva Harantyagam Avishrani Pruktani Nanye Vartakarani Cha. If you're chanting with offenses, then the prescription is to chant without stoppage. Keep chanting and don't stop, because the holy name is so powerful, it'll help you overcome the offenses in chanting if you continuously chant. Okay, so a dim glimmer of the light of the holy name. It's the sun, but you're only getting a dim glimmer. That dim glimmer swallows the darkness of materialistic life. Materialistic life is very dark, and we become obligated to eat things that are abominable, to associate with people who are objectionable in every sphere of the universe, and to work at things that are inane and absolutely useless waste of time, shrama. This is hard labor in the prison camp of the material world. The other day walking by those poor birds sitting in the cages, they look kind of defeated, like, yeah, we're in a cage. We know where we're going. And I was thinking, I'm in a cage too, in the cage of my mind and also in the cage of the material universe. And the holy names come to bust us out of there. And just a dim glimmer of the holy name. So if we can practice in such a way that at least we can get a dim glimmer of the holy name coming through, it will swallow the darkness of material life. It's so powerful and merciful, is the holy name. Devavrata Prabhu.
I was just thinking of Krishna Prabhu, who gives this example of waiting in line to see Balaji. You wait for 6 hours to see Balaji. And I remember when I went to go see Balaji for the first time, I was with Tirupati Temple President and Radheshyam Prabhu. And so we were able to bypass the entire line, and we had Darshana in about a half hour. So I was thinking, and you only get Darshan for about 10 seconds, maybe less than that. So I was thinking that when you're with devotees, that dim glimmer can come a lot faster. And even if it's only for the fraction of a moment, that can provide so much inspiration. So I was just thinking we have to pray for that little ray. And once that ray comes up, just like in the darkness of night, once the first light of the sun comes up, things start to become visible.
Okay, put it down. New saying, pray for the ray. Okay, a couple more just practical points from the playbook. There's ways in which we can practice calling out to the holy name. One is, these are recommended. Prabhupada recommends crying like a baby. And just imagine the position of a baby that's helpless. Babies are helpless. They can't survive on their own, even for, half an hour. They have to have constant attention. And babies cry in that sense of helplessness, that they know they're helpless. Maybe they don't know it, but they feel it. And there's a way in which they, there's a certain tone to their cry, a helpless cry. And then also, Prabhupada says that the meaning of the Maha Mantra is, "O my Lord, O energy of the Lord, please engage me in your service." And if I'm not engaged in Krishna service, as is mentioned in the Padyavali, Kama Dinam Katina Katita Palita Durnideshas, then I'll be engaged by bad masters. Slave drivers will grab me and take me away. So it's kind of praying to Krishna for service and also for protection. Please engage me in your service so I'm not obligated to serve the bad masters. And finally, be on the subject of determination and effort and taking personal responsibility for one's japa, is beware of the Dhritarashtra syndrome. So Dhritarashtra was weak-hearted. And when Acharya came to visit Dhritarashtra, he was sent by Krishna. Krishna said, "Go test him. See where he's at. If we can avoid this war, fine. It's all down to Dhritarashtra, whether he'll cave into Duryodhana or not." So Acharya was a little strong with Dhritarashtra, and he told him that your ideas, your following of your son is wrong-headed, and that you're going down the wrong path. You're going to ruin it for everybody. And after his admonitions, Dhritarashtra said, "Your words are so apt, they're so eloquent, so beautiful, I just can't follow them." And this is, we get good instruction, and then there's a disconnect that causes cognitive dissonance, that I know what I should be doing, but I'm not doing it. And praying to cross that bridge where I'm not the one caving in, and look at the result. If one doesn't admit that it's up to me, I have to make a move. Some volunteer life change I have to make in order to come into the fold and make it right. And when you see somebody who's taken that responsibility, they have a different way of carrying themselves in the world. And they also inspire others. A little bit goes a long way. On a atomic level, if someone has that epiphany that it's up to me and I'm going to do it, even if they move a fraction of a micron in that direction towards Krishna, neha bikramanashosti pratyavayo navidyate swalpam apyasya. Swalpam, su alpa means fraction of a micron, in moving forward in this sense of like, yes, Krishna, I'm going to do what you say. No matter what else happens, no matter how much of a rascal I am, I'm still going to do it. And that puts us on the spiritual map. And then the chanting of the holy name becomes so enlivening, because then we want help and we're crying out to the holy name, please let me move another fraction of a micron. Is that a measurement? A micron? Micron in the right direction. Any other thoughts? Since we're stirring the pot? Yeah. Could we address inattentiveness? Yeah. And actually there's a whole section on it coming up tomorrow. But attentive has the word ten in it. Ten, like in tendon. The tendon holds together the bone and the muscle. Ten also means to stretch towards something. And where attention goes, energy flows. So wherever we place our attention, that's what we're investing in. Because if you think about it, it's our only real asset, is the choice of where to place our attention. We're free to do that. That's our free will. We can put it anywhere. If I become aware of that wherever I'm placing my attention, I'm going, then I'll be really careful about where I place my attention. So a lot of the determination to keep one's attention on Krishna comes from being well informed about the process or the cycle that takes place when I use whenever I invest my attention. For instance, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Jayato Vishayam Pumsam Sangasteshu Pajayate. So the idea of Jayato means that you're looking at something with some intention. You're contemplating it, thinking, okay, I'm going to connect with that. And then from that, Krishna says you make a sangha with it. It becomes part of you. Now you own it. It attaches itself to you. And from there, there's either a downward or an upward spiral, because if we attach ourselves to Krishna, which is the process Krishna recommends, manmana bhava madbhakto, then everything good happens. In fact, in the 11th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, on the section of mystic powers, Krishna is telling Uddhava about how the yogis, they find the essence behind certain material elements, and they focus their attention on it so with such ferocity, that intensity, better, that they actually start to take on the quality of that thing, and that's how they develop a mystic power. They actually merge with that element, and they take on the quality of that element. And all the mystic powers are described there. Krishna describes them. And then he says, but if one meditates, it keeps one's mind focused on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one attains everything. Everything comes from that. And, knowing that and knowing the power of our own attention and where we place it and what the consequences are can help inform us and then help us to be determined to focus our mind on the holy name, which is where we're asked to give our attention mostly. Does that help? Something? Okay. Prabhu, and then we'll try chanting again.
You said in the morning that determination is important, and Srila Prabhupada says in the Nectar of Instruction that determination comes from enthusiasm, and you said before that enthusiasm means God inside and theos. You've been saying that, and one of the instructions that I got from my spiritual master is that Srila Prabhupada ordered me to be enthusiastic, and therefore I am always enthusiastic. So enthusiasm is a choice we make, and enthusiasm brings determination.
Vijayatatma Prabhu used to dance at every artik. When I first joined the temple, he was one of the brahmacharis I was associating with, and it didn't matter if it was fast or slow. He said we should dance at every artik, and he and I just noticed that, if someone takes it into their head to do something and they decide, who's to stop you? It's one of the points that's made in the Nectar of Devotion that if you decide that you're going to take a morning bath in the confluence of the Saraswati, Jamuna, and Ganga at Prayag during the month of Magh, then who can stop you? It's freezing cold. It's foggy. And the bank's a little muddy, too, during the month of Magh. But if you say, I'm taking my bath, everyone can say, you're kidding me, right? You're crazy. It's like, whatever it is, I'm taking my bath. So this is an example of this determination that is given by Rupa Goswami, quotes from a śāstra. And then he says, if you make that decision yourself, then nothing in your environment can stop you. No one can dissuade you. So it's important to take that. And we can take it as the order of the spiritual master and Krishna to do that. Let's try a little more. Yes, Nanda.
Hare Krishna. So I'm just thinking about determination. It's such an important quality. So it's unaccompanied by the thought process, so please hear me through. So it's like weightlifting. If I want to lift 100 pounds, at this present body, I'm not going to be able to do it. But gradually, I have to do little by little. So perhaps a little bit of encouragement on building determination, a few little tips on how to build determination gradually. For someone who has a distracted mind and appreciates the goal of determined chanting, how to go from 0 attention to 100% of attention in 1 hour is impossible. But how, do you have a few tips on how I can gradually become more and more determined, more and more attentive, more and more apply it gradually?
Yeah. I wrote a vignette recently called Seek Small Victories. And there's a way in which I've noticed that every tiny little victory I make from whatever my adhikari is, my qualification is right now, emboldens me to do more. Nothing succeeds like success. And if I'm able to take the little leap of faith that I can muster right now and achieve a victory, then I can do another one after that. And Krishna recommends this to Uddhava. In the 11th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, he says, Swe Swe Adhikarya Nishta Saguna Parikirtita. He said to start where you are now. Don't worry about somebody else's progress or how much they can do. He says it's a good quality to recognize what your qualification is and act from that position. And Prabhupada used to say, drops a day, wear the stone away. So it can be so discouraging, the mind senses, the environment that we're in, and just our own, well, my own ineptitude to perform devotional service. So I have to be a little tolerant of my ineptitude and also try to find one little place I can have a victory and then build on that, each one. Thanks, Nanda. Now we have 0 minutes left. But thanks everybody for coming to the Japa Circle. It's really heartening for all of us to be together, at least for me. And let us pray to Sri Harinam Prabhu that he'll allow us to go on chanting. Frogs have tongues, dogs have tongues, mongoose have tongues. Is that plural? Mongoose? Or mongooses? Mongeese? Mongeese have tongues. Buffaloes, elk. This is in the Chaitanya Bhagavat. I'm not making this up. Vrindavan Das Thakur names all these animals and he says, they all have tongues, but they can't chant the holy name. So remember that as a human, your endowment is that you not only have a tongue, but you have the wherewithal to figure out that God's in his name and you can call out to him. And that's our greatest asset. So we pray that we may take advantage of this asset, God-given asset that can be taken away at any moment. Thank you for considering our request. Om Tat Sat. Everyone who agrees with this prayer in whole or in part, count down from 3 and say, Go Ranga. 3, 2, 1. Go Ranga! Vanchakalpadrusha kripasinabhe vacha patitanam pavanibhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.